Hello! So last week I published the first part of this video in which I reviewed Alejandro's cover letter and also the job posting and what are the main keywords he should pay attention to when writing his application. And in this video I'm going to be reviewing his CV. So there's a lot of juicy, powerful information for you who plan to be applying for a job in Germany or for a job in general. I hope you like the tips that I give here. I couldn't do a lot of edits and cuts, but I hope that's fine. Let's jump right into it. Enjoy. And then now let's go to the CV. So here we have Alejandro's CV. I tried to kind of hide some of the most sensitive information that's been here. Alejandro has told me that I can share this in here, but I've decided to black these things out anyways. So what is the first impression of this CV? The first impression of the CV is that it could definitely work on its layout, first of all. Why? Well, we have today some very creative CV models in which you really see that there's a lot of thought been given to the whole design of the CV, how it was conceptualized, and so on and so forth. And that's pretty good for several positions, maybe also for finance, but to do this well, you really have to have a layout that stands out and that looks pleasing to the eye and that isn't too much and that is pretty adequate to the position to which you're applying. What I see here in this part, this blue part here in this blue area, is that it's kind of more like a older layout or an older way of doing it. It's okay, but I would try to change it because we definitely see some problems. So one problem I see is here with this interest, world history. So here you can see it's a pixelated image in a white background, whilst here we have kind of more bluish background. Here you can also see the boxes in which the things were written, so they're not really implemented. Those links are kind of like just thrown in there. If you're sending your CV digitally, maybe you can kind of embed the links or make them more pleasing to the eye. I mean, those are all details, but at the end, everything helps. Here we see the same problem with the white background and the blue that kind of not really matches. Here we have the transparent one, so it's not really consistent. About the photo, in the CV, you don't necessarily have to have a photo. There are countries like Germany where you usually have a photo for application, so most of the applications I get in my job have a photo within them. This photo is okay. So he has a suit, he has taken it in a suit, he has a more serious look. I think it's okay, but my advice or my piece of advice would be here in Germany you can actually take very professional photos for your application, for your CV at pretty much any photographer. Those will cost you around about 20 euros. I think this is what I paid at the time that I made mine. And they're gonna look so good, so professional. And you can notice that this is kind of like a homemade photo. As I said, okay, but it would be better to have a more professionally done one. What I like is that he has no information about religion, or about his marital status. Those informations or those pieces of information don't really matter. Don't put those in your CV. He's Colombian, so he's put it in here. It's not really necessary, but you could also clarify your visa status or how you are going to be entitled to work if you have a different nationality. So I know that people who study in Germany, after they finish their studies, they have 18 months to get an employment. And during those 18 months, they can work in anything. And if they get an employment in their area, they can extend their visa. Sometimes when you have a student visa, you can do internships inclusive in that student visa. And with your student visa, you can work up until 180 half days in the year, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. But not everyone knows that. And if you add this information, maybe it's a cool thing to add. So you kind of eliminate any kind of tension about your residency status. He has put here some information about the languages he speaks. So about that, I was a fan of the stars because of the whole design thing and so on in the past. But to be honest, with languages, we have the Common European Framework of Reference. So that's Common European Framework of Reference for languages. And it evaluates languages in 6 different levels. So 2 A levels, 2 B levels, 2 C levels, A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. And that's beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And those are very well defined with very good definitions to everything. And in Europe, we utilize those levels a lot. So I would just write. So in Spanish, I wouldn't even write C2. I would write mother tongues. And here, so here, Muttersprache. For German, I don't know what 4 stars is. Is it C2? Is it C1? Is it B2? So I would definitely write what it is. For English, I would also write what it is. I also see one mistake here. So in German, English has SCH, English. So here we can see some skills, intercultural competence, problem-solving competence, analytical skills, and decision or analytical kind of Urteilsvermögen, self-responsibility or getting responsibility, and teamwork. So I think this is okay. They're kind of like all okay, but they aren't really the skills that we have seen here. The hard skills. In this skill section here, this one, I would always put hard skills. And what are the hard skills that they are looking for? So I'm gonna highlight them once more in kind of like this purplish color. They're looking for HGB and IFRS. They're looking for Rechnungslegung, finance and accounting, risk management system. I haven't seen that yet in any place. They're looking for the yearly report for controlling. Rechnungslegung once more. Rechnungslegung once more. Complex questions. So maybe these complex questions is something that you can put in your cover letter. What was some situation in which you helped some company to solve some complex question about IFRS, HGB, Rechnungslegung. Another thing, IPOs, acquisitions, mergers, etc. So those are definitely things that if you have, I would put them here. This here is the place where I would put those hard skills so that they are really clear to the recruiter that you have them, and I would repeat them elsewhere. So like here and also here. This is what I would do. So interests, world history, music, literature, sports. Nice. not really necessary to my view. So a place that I would find better to put those things is in the cover letter when you introduce yourself, who you are, or during an interview for you to tell a little bit more about yourself, way to introduce you, who you are as a person. Great point. Here you can have it, it's not a problem, but if you miss or if you need a little bit more of place for your other things, I would definitely cut this out. I think it's nice to include links to your profiles and social media. That's nice. Be sure that your profiles are well taken care of, especially if you put your Instagram profile. So take a look to see what kind of things you have posted there. So another thing here, so here it's his name, student of business administration at the University of Applied Sciences Münster and the German Latin American Studies of Business Administration Kala for a double degree in cooperation with the Pontificia Bolivariana in Colombia. Okay, so we have 1, 2 times Betriebswirtschaftslehre, and we have only here, this is the only time he mentions that it's a double degree with his Colombian university. Okay, and as you can see, the same as in here. I don't see like a very big problem in this part here, but I would just leave that out. I wouldn't have it here, but take a look at how much place this takes. It takes a lot of place, and you already have this information here. And we're gonna look into this part for sure. We're gonna take a look in here. So, professional experience, waiter at a restaurant, something like that, to the restaurant El Bodegon. So what, or kind of like help in the restaurant in Münster. So he took care of customers, worked in a team, and he took action to solve problems from the clients and to solve problems. Here I once more have the point, like, where did you take action? What action did you take? What problems did you solve? What necessities? It's all unclear. I have no idea what this sentence means. Good and open work atmosphere with a team. Is it really something you did and that adds value here? It's nice that you've had that, but what exactly did you do for that? So did you implement something different? I also think this is something that maybe takes a very important place in your CV. Here, this part, I think it's okay for this experience. But let's just take a look at like how this small sentence is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 words. It's like 3 lines. There's so much place in here that's not going to be utilized right here. It's like so much place. And the thing you need to reflect is, how is this experience gonna help you get the position you're applying for? So I know I'm gonna get critique now saying, Marcus, I need internships to get experience, and I need experience to get internships. It's a terrible circle. And that's true to some extent, but actually also not. Why? Here, to your experience part, you can also add, I'm just gonna I'm gonna clean this up because it's a mess here. You can also add other things. So we had this whole topic in which I was talking about projects at uni. So if you've had a project with a company or a project in which you yourself have developed something, add it here. This is the place where you can showcase it as a whole point. You can add some voluntary work and experience here, and also detail the things that you've done there. Here you can also add for this point, you really have to think about the skills that are being asked here, and in what situations have you applied them, and how can you bring them there. So if you're saying you know this, you also have to kind of like prove that you've applied it in the past and that this is going to be in this section. So this is a reflection to make and to add other relevant professional experiences to this part. So here you see the study program. Here you have once the part in Germany. Here you have the part in Colombia. In Germany, there is not a lot of information. In Colombia, you see the grade with the Colombian and with the German system, which is good. If they don't know the Colombian system, they're gonna know what the German system is. There's here that the expected end is in 2020 at the University of Applied Sciences. So 2020 is already 2 years ago. I would definitely cut this off. One can see that the CV is a little bit older. And what I like about this part is that it says, hey, I have a specialization in negotiation, intercultural management, and finance. But the question is this specific? Maybe you can add some more detailed information to actual modules and courses you've taken. So did you take something in mergers and acquisition directly, or in accounting, or what areas did you take this knowledge? And this is all going to come in handy for your application in here. Then you see another study program with a good note, with a good grade. So sorry, when I say note, I mean grade. Here at the University Externado in Colombia, it's okay. Here you see some situations in which he's been really good. So at the university, second best grade at the economics and the economics department. Here, third best grade. Would definitely keep those here. I think those are important. And overall, this would be my feedback to the CV. What I would suggest is, I think this American style CV in which you have this very black and white blocks of text. It's not for everyone, maybe not for every position, but it's definitely a very easy way for you to create your CV, for you to edit it. You don't have to really stress about a photo. You don't really have to stress about how you're gonna kind of frame each and every situation inside of the CV. And you can really just type in the things you've done and really utilize the space better. And in here you see there's a lot of white space in which you can bring more details about everything that you've done. See how much space is in here. It's a lot of space. A lot of space that's not being used. And think about improving like those points that I've mentioned. The cover letter is a good cover letter. I'd say that's a more standard cover letter that you would get in your everyday job as a recruiter. So most of the cover letters are like this, but you can excel in which you change some points. And yeah, that's basically it. Thank you for watching. I hope that this video helps you with your application. Alejandro, I hope that you get your internship at UI. If you don't, you're certainly gonna get some amazing opportunities, especially if you implement those tips and tricks that I'm giving you. And guys, if you want for me to review your application for some job, your LinkedIn profile, and so on, leave a comment, leave a like on this video, subscribe to this channel. It's gonna be a pleasure for me to help you out in the pursuit of your international career.